Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
Office Bloke Aidan.
Here we are, back on the sports edition.
Yep.
Aidan's back from his holiday.
Yeah, I am.
I tried one video on my own, it's not the same.
No, is it not?
No.
Needs someone to talk to, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. The truth about Bronny James playing in the NBA. Just been drafted.
Yeah, I found out about recently.
Yeah, number 55 pick. So he's down the pecking order.
What is that, round 2?
Ooh, good question actually. I
Like
guess.
back end of round 2?
Yeah, probably.
I think so, right?
Should we get into it? This is Jimmy High Roller, great channel by the way.
Let's go.
Go for it.
With the 2024 NBA draft in the books, there is one major discussion that has dominated the NBA space over the last week. It isn't about the #1 overall pick. It isn't about the outlook of these teams going into next season. It's about a late second-round pick. And for good reason, because his name is LeBron James. And he's gonna play in the NBA with LeBron James. It's a weird and unprecedented circumstance that the NBA has never encountered before. A player who many fans consider to be the greatest of all time playing in the NBA with his own son. A story so strange, you'd think the NBA scriptwriters outsourced their work to ChatGPT, picked the most batshit result, and called it a day. But after 2 years of speculation, we now know with certainty that Bronny James will be an NBA player.
I guess he's a baller. He wouldn't be in the NBA draft if he's...
I just wonder if he would get picked that highly if he wasn't his son.
Right, see what you mean.
Do you reckon he would? Well, probably not.
One of the things you want to do in life is, one of the things I always said when you were young, you and your brother, was I want to play on the same team, football, as you both.
Not good enough anymore, are you?
But it happened. I got to play with both of you on the same team,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So it's a great achievement as a parent. And LeBron probably wants to see it on a professional level.
Yeah.
So on the highest level he can do in the NBA.
Yeah.
His son might be not NBA level of for the Lakers. Sort of
I'm
thing.
just wondering if he'll come in and actually play for the Lakers straight away, or if he'll
There'll
go on to the G League or something.
I think it might be a case of put him in there so LeBron James can see out his dream, and then decide what they're going to do from there.
Yeah.
Probably might even be a part of LeBron staying on. He's only going to stay on to play with his son type thing. Yeah.
And right on cue, the criticism of his merits and value as a future player in the NBA have already came pouring in. Scouts and GMs claiming Bronny as a prospect isn't even worth using a late second-round pick on, and that the real value lies in his last name and the leverage it comes with. But how valuable is a second-round pick, really? And is Bronny a legitimate NBA player, or is he only in conversation solely because of who his dad is?
Who do you want to play with?
Bronny is #1 on my list.
I gotta be on the floor with Bronny.
Today's video is sponsored by SeatGeek. The MLB you guys have one who, whether you're 10 or you, advantage of your 10 Griffey, former major order. This is Ken Griffey, former major leaguer and 3-time All-Star. This is Ken Griffey Jr., son of Ken Griffey. And in 1990, these two did one of the coolest things a father and son can possibly do. They played in the MLB together. And when I say together, I don't just mean they played in the MLB at the same time. They were on the same team. In fact, they weren't just on the same team, they shared the same outfield with each other. It's probably the rarest and most badass thing you'll ever see in sports. Making it to the big leagues is one thing, but playing in the big leagues next to your kid is a club exclusive to only these two. And if that wasn't incredible enough, on September 14th, 1990, the Griffeys pulled off something that you will never see again in your lifetime.
I'm gonna inch back up there now.
Well hit to center field. Devon White going back. Gone! A 2-run home run. And he hits one well to left center field. Dante Bichette. Back-to-back home runs.
What else can these guys do?
The Griffeys were great, and they were the first and only father-son duo in the history of Major League Baseball. But they weren't the first father-son duo in professional sports. This is Gordie Howe, one of the greatest players to ever touch the ice. He won 4 Stanley Cups, 6 MVPs, held the NHL record for total career points at the time of his retirement, and is a member of the NHL's 100th anniversary team. Gordie had an incredible pro career as a hockey player, and yet out of all of his accomplishments, the coolest thing he ever did was this. This is Mark and Marty Howe. Gordy's sons, and he played professional hockey with them in both the WHA and the NHL for 5 seasons. Now, if you're thinking, that guy looks a little old to be playing professional sports, you're right. Gordy began his career in the NHL in 1946 when he was just 18 years old. By the time he retired for good, he was 51. A career that stretched from the 1940s to the 1980s. And only with a career like this can a player even have a shot at playing in the league together with their son. Why exactly am I talking about home runs and Gordie Howe? Well, because they're awesome, but also because of these two and what they're about to accomplish in their own sport. LeBron and Bronny James, who are on track to being the first father and son duo to play together in the NBA, an idea that seemed far-fetched when LeBron first mentioned it years ago, but has now become a reality. But how legitimate is Bronny's spot in the league? And is the backlash towards the Lakers selecting him with a second-round pick in the draft warranted? Well, to answer this question, we first need to know just how good Bronny is as a prospect and as an incoming NBA player. Right now, NBADraft.net has Bronny rated at an 88 overall across their 12 prospect metrics. This overall rating puts Bronny on the lower end of all second-round picks and future prospects over the last 3 years, but well within range of your typical mid to late first rounder. Now, here are Bronny's numbers during his 1 season of college basketball. 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists a game on 47, 30, 69% shooting splits. Now these numbers, especially from a relatively undersized guard, do not scream NBA potential. But for perspective, here are the average collegiate stats from every late second-round pick that played college basketball over the last 5 years. And even when compared to late second-round picks, Bronny's numbers aren't nearly as impressive. In fact, Bronny is arguably the least productive college prospect in NBA history. Here is a list of every player in the entire history of the NBA to be selected in the first 2 rounds of the draft that averaged less than 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists a game in college. And that's it. Just 3 players who were selected in the NBA draft with college numbers equal to or less than Bronny's college numbers. Pair that with the fact that these prospects had at least the benefit of having NBA frames and physical tools to be potentially built off of, and the case for Bronny warranting a pick in the NBA draft becomes more and more difficult to make. But to really demonstrate exactly where Bronny falls amongst other second-round picks, here is a chart of every college basketball player selected in the second round of the draft over the last 10 years, with box plus minus on the x-axis and minutes per game on the y-axis. 298 selections spanning 10 drafts. More than half of these players not even in the NBA today. Where's Bronny? He's right here. Most late draft picks, even the guys who go on to not even make a roster in the league, were first or maybe second options in their college program. Bronny, on the other hand, was an undersized rotational player on a sub-500 team. It doesn't take an NBA scout to know that Bronny James's collegiate career wasn't that of your...
Just a big marketing ploy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But at the same time, for his career as well, do you not think he's kind of almost going to the NBA too early? Like,
he's only done one year of college,
that's
right?
what I'm saying. You should probably do a couple more, but I understand what the reasoning he's gone to the NBA is.
Yeah, I think it's purely
to play with his dad.
Play with his dad and a marketing ploy. Yeah. If you think about it, how many people buy a LeBron James shirt, let's say? Yeah. Loads, right? When you see anyone, when you go overseas, outside of the USA, and you get even the people, the dodgy sellers, if you want a basketball shirt, it's either Michael Jordan or LeBron James. And they're the only 2 real shirts you can buy, like from the. You
can get Steph Curry one.
You might be able to get a Curry one, yeah, on occasions. But if you go to a proper sports store and they have it's always LeBron James shirt at the front. It's always they're the most they're probably going to sell. Yeah. You're going to double that up because everyone's going to want a James and a James Jr. Yeah. And that's what's going to happen. It's just a massive marketing ploy. It's got to be. It could be nothing else.
Your typical second-round draft pick. But how good is the typical second-round pick? With the rise of second-round sleepers in recent history, most notably players like Nikola Jokic, Jalen Brunson, Herb Jones, and Jordan Clarkson, the potential value of a second-round pick in the NBA draft is about as high as it's ever been. With the help of advanced metrics, the curtain has been pulled back on the value even a solid role player can provide to a winning team. Prospect scouting has gotten more comprehensive than ever before, and these second-round picks have held considerable weight within recent trades around the NBA. But how valuable does that truly make them? Gathered from 10 years worth of draft classes from 2013 to 2022, data shows that on average, out of the 30 players drafted in the second round, about 6 of them won't even suit up in the NBA. That's about 1 in every 5 players selected in the second round that will never see a minute of action in the league. Out of the 24 players who do make a roster in their rookie season, about 17 of them end up playing a second season in the NBA. Of those 17 players that are good enough to stick around for more than a few seasons, only about 8 of them will go on to be a role player or rotational level.
That's mad numbers, isn't it?
Well, I mean, think about how many players are coming in each year and
how
many players are already on the team.
But how many people are going out as well through age, injury, whatever it may be.
I bet it's not as many as people coming in, though.
No, probably not. But when you're talking 30 and only 8 become a solid player, that's from second round, right?
Yeah.
You're talking second round only. So it goes to show your first pick, so you're going to get the odd one like Jokic, people like that who might come in and be a top player. But that's a mad number, that 8.
Yeah.
It's real low.
Level player. Go one step further, and on average, only 4 of these second round picks will become a starting caliber player in their career. That's about 1 in every 8 players selected in the second round. And finally, of the 298 players selected in the second round of the draft, from 2013 to 2022, only 2 of them became All-Stars: Nikola Jokic and Jalen Brunson. If we think about the last 10 years of second-round picks on a scale of box plus minus, with Nikola Jokic being on one end and the players who don't even make a roster on the other, then most players aren't in the middle. In fact, they're not even close. Most second-round picks fall way down here, somewhere in between what Basketball Reference would classify as an end-of-the-bench player and out of the league. When considering how to use a second-round pick, the idea of drafting a guy who ends up being a real contributing player, a starter, or even a future MVP, the perceived opportunity cost can tend to outweigh the actual value of the pick. Drafting a player of this caliber in the second round is like finding a diamond in the rough. But giving away a pick or a potential player that ends up being of this caliber would be a mistake that no front office wants to live with. But that doesn't change the fact that the vast majority of the time, these second-round picks in the NBA draft go on to be these end-of-the-bench level players.
Doesn't really matter then, does it?
What do you mean?
When you look at the stats there, it doesn't matter who you're picking. Whether it be LeBron James Jr. or whether it be someone else, or like whoever got pick 56 or whatever, right? But because they're never going to be they're never going to be a starter anyway. But the value of having LeBron James Jr. playing with his dad, commercial value, is huge, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm not sure it's pointless because you've seen it's like you're not drafting someone just to like get rid of them. They're always gonna play.
You're looking at someone who's a hope.
Potential in them.
Yeah, you're looking at someone who's a hope or potential, but in realistic terms, the stats don't lie there. You're never really going to get one. It's going to be one in a only 2
Well,
in 8.
if that's the case in the second round, I'd love to see what the third, fourth rounders are like.
How many rounds does it go?
7, isn't it?
I don't know. I know the NFL's a little bit different. So I think I'm not sure with the NBA how long the draft is. But that's, to me, it's just that it doesn't matter. The value they've got there is a commercial value, 100%.
Just out of curiosity, does anyone know who the last few 55th overall picks in the draft were and how their careers are turning out? Last year's 55th overall pick has played 1 game in the NBA. The one before that has played 23 games in 2 seasons. The 55th pick in 2021, Aaron Wiggins, is actually having himself a solid career so far. But the one before him is out of the league. The one before that one is also out of the league. He's also out of the league, out of the league, out of the league, was never in the league, out of the league, and out of the league. As a late second rounder, if Bronny can contribute on any level in the NBA, he has already exceeded his draft value. And that's really the proposition in all of this. It would be incredible if Bronny developed into a Davion Mitchell or Aaron Holiday caliber player. But the reality is if Bronny can provide any net positive value to his team, then selecting him in the draft will have been a great pick. There has never been a player projected to go this late in the draft with any expectations on what they should or will do in the league. These late draft picks have historically been reserved for players who might have been overlooked, players who maybe underperformed their potential at the collegiate level, players who organizations are willing to roll the dice on because there's virtually no opportunity cost associated with late second-round picks. It's all upside at this point in the draft. If they don't work out, well, that's typical. If they do work out, well, then they've beaten the odds. And the very large point being overlooked in all of this talk about potential and value to the team and X's and O's, LeBron James has the opportunity to play basketball with his kid in the NBA. Let's just be honest. This is blatant nepotism, a classic case of it's who you know, not what you know. But nepotism has ran rampant in the NBA for decades, and no one cared. Countless players, coaches, executives, owners who got their shot with far less merit than Bronny has. But now here we are sitting around talking about the integrity of a man who's played 21 seasons in the league and his son because they made the most of an otherwise paltry 55th pick in the draft, and the nepotism leaned in their favor this time around. We can criticize this decision all we want, preach about how this move was a breach of ethics, a slap in the face of the game we love. But then we would all be hypocrites, because there isn't a man on earth who would pass up on the chance to play in the NBA with his son, even if it meant pulling a few strings to make it happen. As much as Bronny benefits from sharing the same last name as arguably the best basketball player of all time, that tag has also came with equal scrutiny. We have never seen a late second-round pick get discussed and limelighted like we've seen with Bronny. But we've also never seen a late second-round flyer get completely dissected and criticized like this. LeBron and Bronny have a chance to do something that has never been done in the history of the NBA. And that is worth more than any late second-round pick will ever be.
There must only be like 2 rounds then.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe
Maybe
probably,
3.
It sounded like there's probably only 2 rounds.
Yeah. But that's I don't know. It's a massive marketing ploy, and like you said there, Jimmy Irola, that you're talking. Everyone's talking about it. When was the last time you chatted about a 55th second round pick?
Yeah.
Before, never.
It's just the name.
So the chat, that's what it is. It comes down to it, but he's definitely putting him on the map, and it could be a good coaching thing for him as well. He could see, LeBron could see potential in Bronny and sort of push it that way. So like saying, who knows what James's aspirations are going forward with the NBA and the Lakers? Yeah. Is he going to be a part of the Lakers, or is he a part? I don't even know if he is a part of the Lakers. Ownership sort of thing I'm talking about. But it's definitely out there for everyone to talk about, and it's
be interesting to see how he does, won't it?
Will be.
Where
I'm
he
sure
goes.
it'll be proper and
full on G League or something.
We'll be full on in the spotlight, won't it?
Yeah.
As soon as the season starts, see where he lines up. There you go. Let us know what you think in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.